Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural WarrenWorks debut for WarrenWorks Studios. This is amazing, dude. This is so cool. I honestly, I'm doing this off the cuff right now. I'm doing this pretty much no script, uh, and I know that was stupid because you only get one live debut. But the beauty is that I can edit this a little bit if I want to. I'm terrible at editing. I still got to work on finding someone to help me edit this stuff. But I wanted this to be pure, raw, emotional, unfiltered me in the middle of having kept this in all day. Because, when I work, I'm actually very quiet. Um, I work at home, so I don't really have to be that way, but I'm sitting at the computer all day. I don't talk a lot. I just write and I keep to myself. I keep my headphones on. I keep my music in. I don't bother my wife at all or anything like that. So I've been very quiet the past couple of days, but I've started to kind of feel that heat rising a little bit, and I'm like, oh my god, this is real. This actually happened. Very much the opposite of how I felt back in 2015 when I was getting ready for my 6th year anniversary at Panduit, and I was like, oh my god, that was all downhill. I was like, oh shit. If I go in there tomorrow, I feel like my life is going to be over. And we used to joke, me and a lot of my friends who used to work there, we used to joke all the time about how if you worked a certain number of years at Panduit, it was over. That was your life. You were never going to get out. And I wasn't about that life to begin with. But it was one of those things that it was a joke that started to become very real for me. And I don't begrudge anybody who's still working there, who used to work with me. If it works for you guys, God bless that you were able to find some happiness there. I'm very happy for you. But it wasn't for me. I didn't know what I was going to do. And if I'm being honest, I still don't know for sure what I'm doing a lot of the time. But I make it work. I walked out with I pulled a Peter Quill. I basically said, I was like, I got an idea. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I know exactly how I'm going to make this work, how I'm going to make my money. And really, I had about 11% of a plan, and I just walked out because I was tired. And now here I am. It's been 5 years to the day since I walked out of that building for the last time. And the only thing that makes me sad, looking back on those last 5 years, is I've done a lot in my life that, thanks to contractual obligations, thanks to NDAs I've signed, thanks to a lot of things, I couldn't share a lot of the ways I was succeeding in making my own living as a person with other people. I kind of just disappeared from Facebook. I kind of disappeared from YouTube and Twitter. I wasn't posting anything really anywhere. And over the last couple of years, I started to get enough financial independence that I was like, I don't need to do that anymore. I can kind of do my own thing now. I can start trying something different. And so while I'm still a writer first and foremost, I wanted to do this because I feel like it's not an untapped market, but so many writers, you get pigeonholed. It's like, okay, you write books. What else do you do? And I was like, I do a lot. I do a lot of shit, and I like to think I'm pretty good at it. So that's how WarrenWorks Studios came to be as an idea. As I was just sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, I could, type all my books up, put them on Patreon, get support that way, and I do plan to still do all that, of course. It's going to be part of the portfolio, but this WarrenWorks, this project, this studio, is going to be more than that. I want to show the world that writers as a people, creators in general as a people, are more than just the stuff they create. We do other things, and it's fun to interact with people because a lot of the time, in my experience, people, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I have been all over the freaking planet, and I love it when someone comes up to me and says, hey, I like what you do. They want to talk to me about something I wrote. I'm like, that is so cool. How do you even know that I did that? It's an amazing feeling, but I wanted to have a more direct outlet for that. And this is it. This is what it's going to be. So I know I'm rambling a little bit. I will try and keep this concise. I make no promises because, again, I'm kind of feeling, I'm starting to feel giddy. The reality is sinking in. But a lot of you are already familiar with the Dram That's Good Scotch Review channel, and thank you for everyone who's been tuning into that. I know that's a very niche kind of thing. So with it not being for everybody, I'm like, all right, I got to expand. Obviously, I do more than drink and write. Not much, but I do more than that. So I was like, all right, what else can I do? So WarrenWorks is going to be kind of like, you have a lot of YouTube channels now that are very specialized, and they start out that way, and then as they get bigger, there are plenty of examples. things like Threadbanger, the big ones, Simply Nailogical, Markiplier, freaking even way back in the day, Equals 3. These people started out doing just one thing multiple times a week, all the time. And then as they got tired of that, they start to expand and do other things, and people want to see them do other things. So I was like, let's just do that from the start. So I can only, of course, this is encompassing everything in one channel. WarrenWorks Studios is the channel, but you can't have like a bunch of sub-channels in your first year, which is kind of dumb, so I'm going to have to label the videos appropriately. But I will do that so you guys don't have to waste any time watching videos you don't want to watch, because I don't expect you to be into everything I'm into. That's okay. But as a list, I've got my little list right here that I'm trying not to look down at too much because I do have some sense of professionalism left. Basically, I've got a list of the, quote, channels that are going to be on this, like sub-channels that will be a part of the portfolio. So, of course, Dram That's Good Scotch Reviews is going to be our bread and butter. But I only have so much money, and I only have so much scotch. I do well for myself, but I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination, which means that the whole point of Dram That's Good Scotch Review was to be like, hey, this bottle's, $30 to $60, which for someone who's working paycheck to paycheck, that's a lot of money to spend on a single bottle. But you want to know that you're going to enjoy it and that it's going to last a long time. So that remains the bread and butter. That's not going to change much. The biggest change is going to be just that when I run out of things to sample, I'll have different videos about like how to make cocktails. We can do cocktail experiments, which will be a lot of fun. Have user submitted stuff where people be like, try drinking this, it's going to be nasty. Like, okay, fine. And I do have some really, really fancy stuff I've acquired over the years that I've been saving up, which is going to come here in the, quote, second season. I know it's not really a second season. We didn't really have a first season. I just kind of did it off the cuff, but it's going to be more professional this second time around. Second thing, Team McSwole is this thing that I started years ago, like back in high school, and it was kind of a joke. Long story short about how that came about is back in high school when I was playing football and I was in much better shape than I am now, I was flexing in the mirror, actually, in the boys' locker room, and someone walked in and saw me. Some of you may know him, Zach Zenzen, came in and saw me doing that, and he walked up behind me and he like tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "Oh, big swole." And I got a laugh out of it because he's still probably twice as strong as I am, 3 times anyway. But I got a laugh out of it because at the time I was in really good shape, and I was like, all right, that's cool, someone recognizing that I've been putting in work. And I still don't know if he was just fucking with me or what, but it doesn't matter. It was fun. And what's funny is I've got a strong pedigree of people in my life who are very physically fit, people who have done competitions, people who are just ridiculously strong. They've all been great motivators for me, so I try to stay in good shape myself. I'm a little slack right now. But the Team McSwole group was always this thing. It was never about, exclusivity. I just made it private because you always get those stupid people who go into those groups and they want to be like, I'm the biggest, I'm the strongest, I'll fuck you up if you question me. And it's like, that's not fun. So I made it private for a really long time. And I'm going to open the doors of that group and welcome more people in because my goal has always been inclusivity, positivity, and making people feel good about themselves and want to work out, want to eat healthy, and just live a good, positive lifestyle. That's what Team McSwole is all about. The name just stuck because, come on, Team McSwole, that just sounds cool, right? So videos for that channel are going to be mostly like if there's a cool workout that you guys want to see me try or people that are part of my channel try, we'll do it. If you need some daily motivation, we're going to do some motivational takes because I love when people do motivational pump-ups on YouTube. That stuff gets me going in the mornings. Love that stuff, so I'm going to give it my best shot. And of course, basically, a lot of that's going to be just kind of following the journey as myself and others who, and that could be you sometimes, you never know, as we just try and live better, healthier lives, and spread the message of positivity around. So that one's going to be good. If you're looking for something a little more comedic and positive and healthy, but also definitely going to be a bit more sarcastic, I've come up with the official title for that sub-channel is going to be I Don't Care, Let's Cook. And it is absolutely a satire on the fact that every food blog you've ever seen, every YouTube cooking channel has a bajillion advertisements now, or if it's a food blog, it's from some mother of 7 who it's like, here's the story of how Timmy fell down the well and the whole town had to work together to get him out, but then we all had to eat afterwards, and I came up with this delicious cowboy skillet, and it's like, I don't care. Not to be mean, but okay, just give me the recipe for the skillet. And then you have to scroll through on your phone or on your computer, and there's like 37 advertisements and like 50 more ads on top of that you have to sit there and click through. You can't skip them. And the pages are all jumbled and shit. And I'm like, that's terrible. That's not conducive to cooking. If I want a recipe, I want it to be a lot, a lot less like the current video I'm doing where it's jumbled and not planned. I want it to be, okay, here's what I'm going to make today. What's the backstory? I don't care. Let's cook and make the thing. And that's going to be the channel. I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible, as easy to follow as possible, and just make stuff that I happen to be really good at making because I'm a very good cook, actually, if I do say so myself. And I have a lot of people who can back me up on that. But that channel would just be me doing quick, simple cooking stuff. And it would always be kind of sarcastic, come up with an early anecdote of like, do you want to hear the story about the time that I had to save the Thanksgiving Day parade by baking a turkey? I don't care, let's cook. Just jump into it. Just something funny like that. So that's going to be a lot of fun for me to do. And I do have ways to keep that channel fresh because I'm thinking people can submit something to me and be like, hey, I want to see you try and do this cooking challenge. Or I need some advice about how to cook this. Can you do a video about how to make it? And I'll be like, sure, let's do it. So that one's going to be a lot of fun. The next one, and this is the one probably dearest to my heart, fourth sub-channel is Let's Talk Words. That is a working title. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if that's going to stick. I don't know if I like it. But again, stuff that I can't talk too much about because NDAs are a bitch. But I got into public speaking back in high school. Shout out to DHS class of 2007. Y'all had Mr. Solomon for speech. You knew how it was. And shout out to TJ Fontana for teaching me the wizardry of impromptu, which is why I'm able to sit here and just bullshit in front of a camera for 15 minutes without a script. And he would be, I'm sure he'd be screaming at me for the amount of times I said in this video. But Let's Talk Words is basically going to be me taking the experience I've gotten in the last 5 years going across, going where I've gone. Again, I can't talk much about it. But doing what I've done, where I sit in front of a room of people who are young, aspiring writers who want to learn more about the craft, they want to learn more about the trade, and I say, hey, I've been in this business. I know how to get published now. I know how to get my work out there. I know how you can get your work out there. And I'm not afraid to be honest with you and tell you the truth because so many people in the field now, when it comes to creative works, they coddle young people when they come into the writing, in any creative field really, and they give them this expectation of like, oh, it's okay, just take another half-year break, just go on sabbatical, just don't do anything. That doesn't work, guys. That's not realistic. You are never going to get anywhere if you don't eventually do the work. And the concept that you will, quote, eventually do the work, that's very much a eventually. So many people I know just give up instead of looking for advice from someone who's willing to give them a different perspective and say, hey, if you need to take a break, that's cool. But maybe not for half a year, maybe not for 2 years. Like if it's that long of a break, you might never get back to it. We only get to live one life. And if I had lived mine differently, the last 5 years of my life would have been so different, and I would be, frankly, much worse for the wear if I hadn't done what I did. So that whole subject, I know I'm, again, a little rambling here. I'm sorry. It's a very emotional topic. But that one is going to be very much I would come up with a topic for the day, be like, okay, you guys want to get published? We're going to do a quick 10-minute video with some serious pointers about how you can get published. Maybe do like, how can I make my writing more concise? How can I make my writing more complex? How can I appeal to XYZ audience? I've got experience in all that, and I've done it in front of live audiences, which is way harder than sitting behind a camera and being able to just take my time answering every question without a time limit. So that one's going to be awesome, and I will take questions about, this is one of those that I want users and viewers to be like, hey, I need to know about this. Even if I'm not an artist. I used to be a musician. I don't really play music anymore. But I'll give it my best shot. If you have a question about some kind of creative work or how to get your foot in the door, I'll give it my best answer for you. And I'm happy to take whatever questions people come up with in the comments for those videos and use them to create future content so I'm helping out as many people as possible, because that's what we should do. The biggest thing I found getting into writing is that there are so many people who pretend to hold the door open for you and then slam it in your face when you don't do things exactly the way they tell you. And I respect when things like the military do that, because they have a good reason. I don't respect when people do that in publishing and in writing, because it creates a lot of samey crap. And I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy to create samey crap, and I'm not the guy to encourage you to create samey crap. We don't do that here. So Let's Talk Words is going to be the fourth and theoretically final sub-channel for WarrenWorks Studios. And again, going to be my personal favorite, I think, before this is all said and done. I have a fifth proposed channel that I'm working on called Drink, Talk, Repeat. And I've already had a couple people ask me about this, which is awesome. I'm glad there's interest. There's a lot of popular interview shows out there right now where the interviews take place in ridiculous situations or they're really difficult challenges, but they're a lot of fun to watch. And I had my own spin on that where I was like, you know what? I could do this as a podcast. I could do it on YouTube. I could do it over Zoom. There's a lot of ways to do this, and especially in the current situation with the pandemic going on, having someone sitting less than 6 feet across from me with a microphone and a bunch of bottles and glasses is probably not the best idea. But as the situation improves, Drink, Talk, Repeat would be the kind of thing where if you are a creator, if you are a writer, musician, artist, if you own a small business, if you have a YouTube channel you want to promote, this would be a podcast or video interview where basically, if it's a podcast, no one cares what you're drinking, but we can talk about it because it's fun. If it was a recorded YouTube interview, the concept would be that the person would be sitting with me and we would each have a couple of bottles, a couple of different glasses, and as we went down the line of our drinks, we would go from silly questions to serious questions to random questions, just all kinds of fun stuff to bounce around, keep the mood moving. And then it would end on a promotion. So you would get to promote your work, your business, whatever you're doing. And beyond that, you would also get to, if you had a performance, like a performing art, you would have an opportunity on the show to perform. And all the people who are listening to my show are now going to get tuned into yours. So that one I think is going to be really cool if we can get it off the ground. But right now, the logistics of it are just really tough with the pandemic. So that one's kind of on the back burner, but I'm really excited to give it a try. But if you have any interest about it, there will be links in the video description for you to reach out to me by email. So please do if you have any interest in ever appearing on the show for any reason. Again, creators, small businesses, indie people, I would love to hear from you and know if you would like to be on the show eventually. Again, this is not going to be something that happens for the next couple months probably. But that one's going to be a lot of fun, I think. And I'm looking forward to helping other small businesses and small creators like myself. Because again, hold the door open for other people, Don't be a dick and slam it in their face. And certainly don't sell the lie that you're going to help them and then slam it in their face. That's even worse. I'm not doing that. Now, that is a brief review of the sub-channels that I'm going to offer as part of the WarrenWorks Studios portfolio. And by brief, I mean 17 minutes long. I told you I would try to keep concise. I made no promises. But I have a very simple ending for this. I have 3 pieces to my mission statement for this channel. And I intend to keep them very firmly because my biggest concerns, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. And if I'm going to do this, I'm going to give it my best shot and not cram a bunch of ads down your face for something that I don't want to monetize like that. So, the first part of the WarrenWorks mission statement is no monetization on YouTube ever. And I mean that, ever. I can't stop YouTube from putting ads on these videos. If they get popular, if they decide to throw an ad on there that you can't skip, there's nothing I can do. However, I will not be monetizing any of these videos. Primarily, the first biggest reason is because I don't want you guys to have to sit there and click through multiple ads or get unskippable 15 or 30-second ads just to watch me yammer on for another 10 minutes. You have busy lives, you have important things to do yourself, and I'm not gonna abide that. I'm not gonna be along with that. So none of these videos will ever, and I do mean that, will ever be monetized on YouTube. And the second reason for that, of course, is because occasionally I swear and I drink alcohol, and they don't like that. So those things couldn't be monetized anyway. So even the stuff that I can monetize, I will not. That is part of my mission statement. That is part of my promise. The only funding I get is from viewers like you. We are the PBS of entertainment now. My Patreon will be linked in the video and in every video. Again, it's totally optional. I don't want to pressure anyone into doing it, but there are rewards. But this channel will be funded exclusively through that Patreon. And if we manage to get a few of you guys to hop on board and support us, we can get better recording equipment. We can get cooler stuff. But again, it's totally optional. This is something I'm doing mostly for fun, mostly because I want to share my work with the world. And it's not necessary to give even a single penny. So, cool. Second point. I'm going to create the best content I can every single time. If I'm not giving this my best shot, then there's no point in doing it. You know? I'm having fun. I enjoy it. From fifth grade, back when I used to get freaking performance anxiety and damn near blackout talking in front of a class, I've kind of become that person who likes talking into a camera and hearing himself talk, and I hate admitting that. It feels so narcissistic. But it's true. So everything I do will be continually improving, basically. Even if we don't get the funding, even if things don't go exactly how I want for this channel, every video will be my best effort. I'm not just going to go through the motions. I'm always going to give it some passion, some effort. And when the opportunity arises for me to get better equipment, I will immediately do that so I can keep improving the experience for you guys. And the third tenet, third mission statement, and this is huge, is keep it positive. We live in a... See, I'm not even going to say we live in a messed up world right now. Y'all know that, and you don't need me to remind you. And I don't want this to necessarily be blatant escapism, but I want this to be something where we can all come together in a positive light about things that we mutually enjoy, and I create content that you enjoy consuming, effectively. I don't want this to be something where, you're watching my video and at the end of it you're feeling down. I don't mind making you think, I don't mind making you feel something, but the last thing I want to do is have you watch a video of mine and at the end of it be like, well, dear God, I guess I'm just going to go walk into traffic. That's not what I want. What I want is I want to bring a little joy into your household from mine, doing something that I love. And I think that's a pretty magical thing that we live in an age where I can do that by sitting in front of a computer and talking. Effectively, that's what a lot of this boils down to. Yeah, just keeping it positive in general, keeping a smile on, making you guys feel good. That is the prerogative, the main prerogative of this channel. So, I know I've been running on for 22 minutes now. I really appreciate you guys giving this time. If you have, in fact, given it the entire time, I really, really appreciate it. I cannot wait to see where this channel goes. I have no idea where it's going to go. I don't have a schedule figured out yet, but of course, as soon as I have a posting schedule figured out, I'll let you know. And I really appreciate everyone who retweets stuff on Twitter, everyone who shares stuff on Facebook, everyone who promotes my videos on YouTube, everyone who helps me out along the way here. This kind of stuff is not possible without the community that grows around it. So thank you all very much for that. I promise I'll tell you all more about what I've been up to for the last 5 years, but even more importantly is what the next 5 years hold, and moving forward, expanding, and sharing more of what I've got with more people. So if you stuck with the video this long, thank you very much for doing so. I promise future videos will be more like 10 to 15 minutes, not like 24. And yeah, this is incredible. This feels so good. So good to finally get off my chest and finally just announce this to the world, like, hey, we're here. WarrenWorks Studios has been launched, and you can expect a couple videos almost every week from here on out. Thank you all so much for your time. Thank you all so much for any support that eventually comes out of you. And I will see you all in a video in about 10 minutes because that's when I'm going to record it. Cheers. Thank you all so much for being patient with me finally producing something after talking so damn much. And here's to having a little fun and making the world a little brighter.